Good day. I'm Mike Zekum, and this is the start of a new series of how to set up a Foundry for Savage Worlds. The idea with this series is I'm setting a Foundry to run a one-shot Savage Worlds adventure. This is due to all the OGL shenanigans and a lot of newcomers coming into the Savage World space. And so there's a person on Facebook organizing a bunch of GMs to run one-shot adventures for these newcomers. As Foundry is such a large and complex piece of software, it's very easy to get carried away in setting up an instance of Foundry for your game. You can add lots of different modules and lots of different tweaks that you'll never actually use in real gameplay. So for this example series, I'm just focusing on what I need to run the adventure. I want to stress this is not the only way to set up Foundry for Savage Worlds. This is just one of the ways that I prefer to do it. One thing I'm not going to cover is how to set up Foundry. There's lots of other YouTube videos out there how to do it, as well as extensive help on the Foundry website. Now, the flow of the adventure. Let's see if I can turn the laser pointer on. Okay, now for the flow of the adventure itself. We're going to start up here with a combat scene, and then we're going to move to a social scene. After that, we're going to do a search scene as the players search the countryside for clues. After that, we'll move up here to a new combat scene that has a dramatic task to end it. At this point, we may want to stop for the evening, depending on how well it's going, because, again, this is a teaching game, and depending on the experience levels of the players, it may take a variable amount of time to get them up to speed with the basic concepts of Savage Worlds. If there's enough time and desire to continue, we can then go into a social combat scene and then end up the night with a mass battle scene. Now, the combat scene is designed to introduce players to Savage Worlds in the most classic fashion, a fight against bandits. For this, we'll need a battle map. They're called scenes in Foundry. So we'll need a battle map of an underground cave and with light sources. We also need two types of villains, regular bandits and a wildcard bandit as the boss. They'll have an iron sword, which will be a plot point for the adventure. After that, we'll move on to a social scene. Here, the players will receive healing if needed and be given the mission for the rest of the night by their elders, which is to find the source of the iron sword. This is a social scene, and I've already done a video on how to make social scenes. I'll link it down below, but I'll redo it again for this particular series. So I need a scene of village life, as well as 4 to 6 elders defined. Moving on from that is the search scene. The players have to search the wilderness to find the source of the sword. The main purpose is basically to expend resources, wounds, fatigue, etc. We'll be using the quick grid system that's available via the Savage Worlds Adventures Guild. And I'll include a link to that once we get to that episode. So we need a search scene, again, another map, as well as the card tile module for the quick grid system. Once the players find the portal to the monster's village, not quite sure what monsters I'm going to use yet, maybe goblins, maybe something else. They'll find a portal to the village. Upon entering, the portal will close behind them, and the monsters will be alerted. So the players will have to quickly try to reactivate the portal. Think the Stargate in SG-1, while defending off hordes of monsters. The idea is the players want to escape because there's going to be a lot of monsters. And I don't want them trying to kill everyone in the village, or in the monster's village. So we need, again, a new battle map. I'm thinking like a swamp-like, though maybe a likely forested area will do. We'll also need 3 types of villains. Regular monsters, a spell-casting monster, and a wildcard monster to act as the big boss. At this point, we might end the game because it's, again, one shot running during a work day, a Tuesday night. So, again, depending on how experienced the players are, we might be running behind or ahead of schedule. So if there's enough time left, we move on to the next scene. Otherwise, this is a good spot to call the game for the night. We'll say, hey, the portal was destroyed, tramping the monsters for now on the other side. If we move on, we'll then go to a social combat scene where the players return to the village. Some of the villagers want to leave and escape the oncoming horde. Others want to stay and fight for their homes. and the players must make an argument for the village to stay and fight. We'll be using the social combat rules for that. So this is again the same social scene as before, with the same 4 to 6 elders, and we just have to add in a token track to keep track of successes. Finally, we're going to have a mass battle scene, assuming the players actually succeed in convincing everyone to stay. And it has to just keep track of the different modifiers and remaining forces on both sides of the battle. And it might also include a list of things the players can do to help sway the odds. This is very vague and nebulous. I'll get more into it once I actually design it. And finally, we're going to need a landing page, plus the player characters. A landing page is simply a scene that the players see when they first log in. I'm thinking like a map of the area for my particular landing page. I also need 4 player characters at the seasoned level with complete backstories. The to-do list. For scenes, I need a cave battle, swamp battle, a grid search, village social, mass combat, and landing page. So that's 6 different scenes that need to be designed. And for actors, I need 9 different actors. Those are basically anything that moves on the map. So I need bandit, bandit leader, monster, monster spellcaster, monster leader, and 4 PCs. So not too bad, but it is a fair bit of work to do, and especially for setting up stuff for the first time. And so next episode, we'll start with the setup as we go through and pick out our modules we need to support this adventure and move forward from there. Thank you for watching. If you happen to like this, give me a good thumbs up and subscribe to be notified when the next episode drops. Have a good day. I'll catch you all later.